It is. The difference between them a lot smaller than this house, substantially.
Okay, we're calling to order. Grace, would you read the statement, please?
Welcome to the public meeting of July 2nd, 2025 of the Township of Washington Planning Board. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Board Secretary to at least 2 newspapers on January 3rd, 2025. And this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, electronic message board, WCTV, and on the Township website.
Okay, we'll do the salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, Grace, you want to do the roll call, please?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes, here.
Mr. Murphy,
Here.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Toole,
Here.
Mr. Toro is absent, Mr. Wojciechowski,
Here.
Councilman Ullman,
Here.
Mayor Calamari.
Here.
Chairman Sabino is absent. Let the record reflect, also in attendance are Attorney Lou LaMattina, Engineer Paul Azzolina, and Board Secretary Grace Kalish.
Okay, Grace, could you read the public portion, please?
To participate in the general public portion of the meeting, please click the link below to join the webinar. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. This public comment portion is only for non-agenda items. Time is set aside later in the meeting to address questions or comments about current agenda items. If you are participating by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. At the end of the general public portion, no further general questions or comments will be accepted.
Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion to open the public portion of the meeting?
So second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public portion of the meeting is set aside for any comments or questions that are not on tonight's agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Nobody's online? Nobody in here? Okay, I guess not. Then can I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, under new business, there's an application of 663 Burke Street, LLC, for demolition of an existing house for a new proposed residence to be located at 663 Burke Street, Block 2109, Lot 2. Can I get a motion to open? Oh, right. Are you
Are
here?
you here for 663?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can I identify
Good
yourself?
evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Madam Secretary, Counselor, Mr. Azzolina, Charles Sarlo, S-A-R-L-O, attorney at law on behalf of the applicant, 663 Burke Street LLC. This is for block 2109, lot 2, with a common address of 603 Burke Street. As the chairman read the matter into the record, this is for a retroactive demolition permit, as I understand it. And the brief history of this particular matter is my client purchased property, was going to do a addition to the property. It was a ranch, an older ranch, and he wanted to make it more modern, retrofit. So he was going to add a second floor and an expansion with no variances. He did receive a zoning permit at a point in time after he submitted the plans, and he started to work on the house. Obviously, to put a second floor on, the roof had to come off. The roof came off as his workers were, working. He was not on the site. Like I said, reported back to him that some of the wood beams were rotted, older house, and he basically said, replace them. And they said, we should just remove them all, take it down to the foundation, and that's what occurred. And then, and rightfully so, in accordance with the township ordinance, the zoning officer, construction official came out and put a stop work order on it for total destruction and needing a demolition permit. So that's abbreviated history. Just a quick comment on the total destruction, you may or may not know. So total destruction, it's actually not defined by state law, and the municipal land use law actually does not total destruction. And every municipality defines it differently. A lot of towns do 50%, some do 50% of the value, and others do it in many different ways. My client is an experienced developer and works in different towns, and at the time, I get whatever he was thinking, but I guess he wasn't thinking about the more than 50% destruction rule. The other thing is, just as an aside, in terms of how this all came about, and somewhat of the innocence of it, is the fact that many of the definitions, at least when I look for defined terms, total destruction, I'll look in the zoning code, I'll look in the definition section. This particular provision, 540-84, is actually in the boroughs or the townships site plan or land use development in site plan approval. And 1- and 2-family homes under the municipal land use law are exempt from site plan approval. So if you're a novice, if you're a homeowner and renovating a house, if you're an experienced builder and somebody tells you, and that site plan approval is not required under the municipal land use law for 1- and 2-family homes, that would be the last place you would look for a definition of total destruction. You would typically look in the zoning code in the definitions. So, with all that history and kind of misunderstanding on the part of my client, it was flagged, like I said, by the zoning officer, construction official, rightfully so. So we are here asking for a retroactive demolition permit in accordance with 540-84. That particular section really talks about the borough's interest in protecting trees and stormwater runoff. There are no, I can represent to you, I do have the project architect here, John Brychek, who will testify in a minute. There are no trees being removed. There is a relatively small, in addition to the second floor, there's a relatively small addition being proposed. And again, there was no really intent for total destruction, new construction of a new house. So it was not designed to have new pitch pits for stormwater control. The existing stormwater runoff was to remain on site. It was just going to be almost like a second floor addition. But obviously, as the events unfolded and it fell into the definition of total destruction, basically new construction, we do have to now do stormwater seepage pits, like Mr. Azzolini had pointed out in his review letter. We do have Mr. Azzolini's review letter dated June 30th, 2025. I've reviewed it. My client has reviewed it. Mr. Brychek has reviewed it. And we're, basically, we can stipulate that we're okay with complying with all those conditions. But with that said, I will call Mr. Brychek to give the board members the benefit of really what is being proposed here on 663 Burke Avenue, and then maybe quickly go through Mr. Azzolini's letter and confirm that we can address all those comments. So I'd like to have you sworn in, Mr. Brychek.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Briefly stated qualifications.
I'm a licensed registered architect in the state of New Jersey, state of New York. I'm also a professional planner in the state of New Jersey. I've been licensed since 2008. I have my own practice since 2012. And I testify on a monthly basis before numerous boards, planning and zoning boards throughout northern New Jersey.
Okay. Anybody have any objection to? Could you spell your last name, please?
Yes, it's spelled B-R-Y-J-A-K.
Thank you. Okay, you may proceed.
Okay. So I'll just take the board through the drawings that were submitted. The first drawing is drawing A0.1, and it has a drawing depicted on it, drawing A, proposed site plan. And on the site plan, we have the property meets and bounds. The property is 109 feet wide by 200 feet deep. The bold lines represent the existing structure on the property. It's currently, or was, a one-story frame dwelling, L-shaped, with with a wood deck and a concrete patio at the rear, driveway along the left-hand side. And so what this drawing is proposing, it's proposing to remove the existing wood structure that's on the foundation to allow for the construction of the two-story addition and then additions towards the left-hand side and rear of the structure. The next drawing is drawing T 1.0. The main drawing here is labeled A, which is the site plan. There's also abbreviations for the other sheets found here, work requirements. It's more for the building department than the planning board here. But again, what's depicted on the site plan is the existing structure is there, the L-shaped structure. The diagonal hatched represents the second floor addition. The cross hatching represents the first and second floor additions to the left of the existing structure. And then the hatching going bottom to top along the right-hand side here, or left-hand side rather, is the one-story addition proposed towards the rear and left sides there. Also, we'd be relocating the driveway slightly to the right, 22-foot wide driveway proposed. Also, we'd be doing a proposed paver patio towards the rear and be removing some of the existing concrete and macadam drive that was towards the rear and left-hand side of the property here. Going through the site data, this was again submitted before the ordinance was changed, so some of the information here is not accurate per the current zoning ordinance. So the lot area is required to be 21,780 square feet. Our existing lot has 21,799 square feet. The lot frontage is required to be 100 feet. We have 109 feet. The lot depth requirement is 95, or was 95, I believe. Existing, we have 200 feet depth. The front yard setback requirement was 50. We're providing 50.58. Although we do have a porch, the dimension to the porch is 45.79 feet, which was allowable per the previous ordinance. I still believe that's allowable, except the square footage is now, there's a limit on the square footage of the porch. Left side yard, I believe the new requirement is 15 feet, previously was 17.5. The existing left side yard is 30.49. We'd be proposing 17.84 feet. The right side yard, also 17, which I believe is 15 now. Existing is 32.5. We're not proposing any change to that side. The rear yard requirement is 30 feet. Existing is 84.94. We'd be proposing no change to the rear yard. The height, 30 feet max height. The existing is 17.5. We'd be proposing 29.27 for our building height. Number of stories, 2.5 stories required or max. Existing is 1.5 stories, proposed 2.5 stories. The building coverage requirement is maximum 20%. Existing was 8.94. We'd be proposing 13.54% coverage. Maximum impervious coverage 40%. Existing is 32.44. We're proposing a reduction, slight reduction to 29.18%. Also incorporated into the drawings here are the areas that are altered of the basement, which we're altering the entire area of the basement, which is underneath the bottom portion, if you will, of the L shape here. So there's about 707 square feet there. We're altering all of it. The first floor alterations were 1,701 square feet, so that's the entire first floor that's being altered. We're adding 478 square feet to it for a total of 2,177 square feet. Second floor, there is no second floor. We're adding approximately 1,268 square feet of second floor space. Porches, we're not altering any porches, so we're removing some porches, but then we're adding some porches back. So total area of the porch is 172 square feet. Area of the garage, we're removing garage, and then we're adding a new garage. The area of the garage is 476 square feet. The next sheet is D 1.1, which shows the what was to be demolished. Our office uses a keynote system, so I don't want to waste the board's time by going through all the keynotes, but for example, keynote number 1 depicts the existing deck that's to be removed in its entirety. Walls that were to be removed were also depicted on the demolition plan. So those 2 drawings are labeled A, basement demolition plan, and B, first floor demolition plan. We also have the plumbing riser diagram here. And for Mr. Azzolina's review letter, what's labeled here as an existing sump pump should have been labeled as an existing sewer and ejector. What was there as part of the existing conditions, there was roughing provided within the slab by the previous owner for a future bathroom. So we'd be utilizing that existing roughing and to install a new bathroom. And he is right, the clean out is up at about mid-level. It does not go into the slab. So it'd be going into the ejector and then going out into this side, rear rather, midway of the rear wall. The next sheet is labeled A1.1. This has 2 drawings to it. Drawing A, the west elevation or the front elevation, and B, the south elevation, the right side elevation. So again, we use a keynote system to depict all the materials we're using for the exterior finishes. What we see here very lightly is the existing roof line, which is there, the existing gutter line of the existing home, and also a side porch that was there as well. So here we see the addition to the left, the 2-story addition, the second floor addition over the main front part of the home. We are proposing the front porch, and we're proposing a mix of materials consisting of vinyl siding, some standing siding, and as well as a feature panel constructed out of fiber cement. And the roofing material will be asphaltic roof shingles. The drawing to the bottom, the south elevation on the right side, you see the existing building there, or what was the existing building, the roof line of the existing is depicted there. We see the second floor addition, and then we see the additions or partial existing structure. We see the existing roof line there, the existing garage, and then our new roof structure proposed over that 1 story. The next drawing is A1.2. Again, we have 2 elevations here. The upper drawing is labeled A, east elevation, or the rear elevation. And again, we see the existing structure, the gutter line of the existing structure, the roof line of the existing structure. We see the second floor addition beyond, the 2-story addition. The first floor expansion is located here. Again, we see very lightly dotted the existing garage in this area here, and then the addition to the right of that. A drawing to the bottom, labeled B, north elevation, left side. Again, we see the existing roof structure here. We see the existing porch that's on the side. There is an existing roof that extends across and ties into the existing, or what was, again, the existing garage roof structure. And so we're proposing a side porch here as well. We see the second floor addition, and then the new roof line over the, what would become now the new family room. Next drawing is labeled A2.1. It consists of 1 drawing, A, the basement floor plan. So what we have depicted here is, again, the existing basement that's located here. All the walls are not hatched. Any new walls are hatched either with a diagonal cross hatching or a shaded gray area. So all the stud walls are hatched in a gray hatching. Any masonry walls are done in a cross hatch pattern. So for the basement, we'd be relocating the stairs to here. We'd be coming down into a hallway space. There'd be a theater room. The roughing for the bathroom would be utilized for the new bathroom. Utility space, and again, it's labeled here as an existing sump, but that should be labeled as a grinder ejector. Beyond this space would be the exercise room and then mechanical room towards the bottom front corner there. This would be the foundation for a slab-on-grade garage, and this will also be the foundation for the 2-story addition. To the rear, we see the existing crawl space that's there, which would be reutilized for the new structure. We also have the existing slab-on-grade that was the old garage, and then we see the extensions of the foundation coming off of the existing structure there to the left. Next drawing is labeled A2.2, which is the first floor plan. So again, the existing structure is here, and then it had an extension to the rear there. So again, similarly as the basement plan, all new walls are hatched with a gray color. All the existing walls are done with no hatch. So we have the front portico, we have the entrance, we have an entry, two-story foyer, stairs leading to the second floor, as well as stairs leading to the basement. Beyond, we have an open area consisting of a bar, dining room, a hallway leading to a powder room, an office, bedroom number 5 with closet and its own bathroom. Going towards the rear, we have the new kitchen relocated to this space here. We have a mud hall that leads to the side porch as well as pantry. And then the area beyond is a family room with fireplace and large opening into the rear yard. And also we have the garage located here, 2-car garage with access from the mud hall. The next drawing is A2.3, and this shows us the second floor addition. So we have the stairs with the open foyer, stairs leading to the second floor here. We have a balcony overlooking the foyer space. To the left, we have the primary bedroom suite. So we have the primary bedroom, 2 walk-in closets, a primary bathroom. Going back into the hall, we have bedroom number 2 with closet. We have a hallway closet. We have the hall bathroom. We have the laundry room located here, as well as 2 bedrooms at the end here. And bedroom number 4 has its own bathroom and closet space as well. So that is the full set of drawings.
Thank you, Mr. Bracek. Is there any comments with regard to Mr. Alexandrino's letter you want to touch on, or?
No, pretty much in understanding what Mr. Aslina is asking for, and no questions or concerns.
No issues or complaints?
No issues. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no further questions at this point in time.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Bracek before he sets down?
May I speak? Is there a generator going to be on the premises?
no, none is proposed.
Okay. So during the power outages that Brandon Pump is not going to be operational, is
It would probably have a battery backup to it.
the backup?
Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, just on the ejector pump or the grinder, does that come out under pressure? And is there any concerns from a sewage perspective? I mean,
It is a pressure system. They are designed, it's going into a cast iron pipe because this is an older home. So I don't see any issues with the pressure from an existing system that is already there. So it should be fine.
I don't have any questions on the presentation.
Right.
I did have some more general questions. I don't know.
Do you want to wait for Mr. Azzolina to go through his letter first?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Azzolina, would you go through your letter first, please? Just
Very briefly, I think Mr. Bracek did an excellent job of bringing the board up to speed with his drawing set. So I take no exception to what he was stated to be the proposed condition. The only question I would have for Mr. Bracek is, so the plans were submitted to the building department as an addition alteration. Do you now have to revise these plans to bring it up to the current building code for new construction?
Yes, that is correct, yes.
Okay, so that, once the board approves that, if the board were to approve the application, subsequent application to the building department would be required. So going through my report very briefly, I believe Mr. Sarlo touched on the reason under page 3 of my report under number 10. He explained the cause of the taking down more than 50%. The only thing I'll say is most framers these days would know that before doing so, they should contact the construction official. Obviously, that didn't happen here, which is why the delay that's been incurred by the applicant. Location and description of the property, I believe everybody understands and knows where the property is. Very level type of property, so I don't see any drainage issues necessarily being associated with the project. I do note that there's an existing inlet on the plan. It's not defined. We don't know where it is, so my recommendation to the board was that some form of investigation be done. I mean, there may be a seepage pit network on this property that we just don't know about, but I believe they can put a camera in the pipe that's coming into or out of that structure, and we'll know a little bit more. So if the applicant is agreeing to that condition, then we can go forward with whatever additional measures may or may not be required for the stormwater management. Moving on to the zoning, so the change in the code relative to porches, front porches used to be what are called a permitted projection under the former code, where you could project 10 feet into the front yard. With the ordinance that was passed this past September, that was changed such that no part of the structure, including porches, could be closer than 50 feet. So that's the variance condition that I'm saying theoretically would exist under the current code, but under the municipal land use law, we would be looking retroactively at what should have been the case. And so that's why I'm not saying it is a variance condition. I'm just making the board aware that it's a condition that's going to be present on the site. Under page 6 of 10, architectural plan review comments. Building height code requires survey with topographic information, spot elevations at 10-foot intervals around the foundation. Visited the site multiple times. I'm confident that the average elevations that the architect used to calculate the building height as being the foundation, the first floor is approximately 2 feet 4 inches above the existing ground elevation, which will not change. And then the other dimension is 2611 from the first floor to the highest ridge, gives you a building height of 2927, which is less than 30 feet, which was the requirement at the time. That height has actually been increased under the current code. So theoretically, if it were under the current code, it could be to 32 feet high. So height is not a concern. But I do recommend that any approval issued by the board, if it were to be issued, that a as-built be provided for the ridge elevation, prior to any roofing materials being placed on the roof. B, tree removal. So there were no trees removed. There's an existing large deciduous tree in the front yard that's still there. Plans are speak of landscape bed, but don't provide any details. Typically, you're going to have at least foundation plantings and some other plantings on the property with a new home, just not specified. So if that is the applicant's intent, that should be somehow noted on the plan as well. Stormwater management, we've spoken about that. Building sewer connection, so with the clarifications offered by Mr. Brychek about the ejector pump versus sump pump. So that would be addressed at this point. So I did note that there is a 2-inch pipe coming through the curb line, which typically is for a sump pump. So that should not be a continued case. That should be directed to any stormwater management system to be provided on the property. Because what happens is the water flows down the gutter line, goes across the neighbor's driveway, because the grade of Burke is toward Washington Avenue. So with not a very large pitch on the road, so you do have a potential ponding, icing condition with any sump. I'm not aware if there's a continuous groundwater problem on this property, but if the former homeowner had a sump pump, assumedly there is some groundwater condition. Driveway modifications. So Mr. Brychek spoke of some of the driveway being removed along the northerly property line. Can you provide a little more detailed description of what you're taking out?
Yes, so what we're removing, we're doing this to comply with the 22-foot wide driveway. So our garages, previously the garage faced the side yard here. Our new proposed garages are facing the front. So our driveway would be moving over to align with the garages there. We also would like to have the ability to have pavement here so someone can walk over and access the porch there. So we'd be eliminating any cars driving into the side here by proposing the landscape bed to the left there. So we're removing this front section of driveway to allow, again, to maintain a 24-foot wide curb cut and a 22-foot wide driveway.
So my question though, so you're keeping, it's in, the driveway that may have existed is kind of trashed with the construction that took place. So I don't know that you have a driveway anymore that extends to the back of the house. I was thinking that perhaps you would want to replace that with a standard walkway as opposed to what is a full width driveway, 15 feet or so. But as I said, it's in not great condition at this time.
Yeah, so we'd probably just replace it with either pavers or concrete or macadam.
To what width though? That's what I'm saying. The existing driveway is 15 feet wide. That seems.
I believe that there's an existing curb that's there, so we'd like to maintain that width as much as possible.
All right, so impervious coverage is actually not an issue on the property. It's a very large lot, so if that could just be better defined on the revisions to the plan so that we know exactly what the limits are.
Okay.
Utility service connection, so this is a substantially larger home than what was on the property. Are you upsizing any services, gas or water to the home?
We'd have to consult with our professionals, with the plumber and the electrician would have to be consulted there with size, because under state law for a single-family home, an electrician can provide his own calculations, so we'd consult the electrician as well as the plumber to make sure that those, if it's existing is adequate, then we maintain it. If it needs to be updated, then it'd be updated.
The primary focus of that comment would be if you or the utility company needs to go on the road, there's a road opening permit process in town that they would need to adhere to. So
Understood.
Veolia and public service are aware of that, just making your client aware of that as well. Standby emergency generator, we discussed that already. Other than that, this application will be subject to the development fee requirements under Chapter 513. And with that said, I believe the application is clearly presented by the applicants. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Councilman, did you have some comments?
Yes. Just, was notice required for this hearing?
Yes, a notice was provided. And by certified mail return receipt requested as well as the legal notice publication. Leave my client.
Okay, we do have that? Okay, thank you.
I apologize, I should have made that statement in advance.
No problem. And then in terms of demolition, the permit, I believe, requires certain testing, I think of asbestos and lead, as well as utilities have to be disconnected, which I'm assuming has happened. Have we met those, or do they have to meet them, since it's being done sort of on the fly? Not in a negative way, just the way it's evolved.
Right. Unfortunately, I can't speak too much about the demolition permit. I wasn't involved in the process at that point in time. My client is on Zoom. He was on his way over here, got quite traffic, and rather than missing the whole meeting, he got onto Zoom. So I don't know if there's an ability to have him answer that question, if that's important. I don't know what was done. We do know his zoning permit was issued. I don't know what, presumably everything was done to satisfy it, but I can't speak for that.
I can put them on, I can go.
Yeah, I mean, we
Can we
have
make that a condition of the resolution or something, that all the permits have been taken out?
that's fine, just, we're in the demolition, we have permitting requirements. want to make sure we're either meeting them, or if we're not, that it's being acknowledged. So if we could find out if that demolition permit has been issued and all the criteria have been met, that would be great.
So Councilman McClight just did text, because again, he is listening in. He said the utilities were disconnected and, quote, anything required by the town was done for the demo permit. Is that possible that we could just make that a condition of the resolution?
Sure.
Okay. And then, just, and not particular to this, but maybe we can discuss it at the end of the meeting in a general session. But again, we have another partial demo into full demo. And, what can we do to address these situations? They all come with valid arguments or justifications, but we also have again regulations, ordinances on file, and should we be doing something more proactively to address this up front?
Okay. Bill, if I may comment on that. I think the building department, because it's come up a few times, is putting something more when people come in for something that even could get demolished, even if it doesn't look like it's going to in the beginning, to call to people's attention.
Yeah, I think in the meeting that we had,
Right, correct.
that was discussed, perhaps we get an update on
Sure.
where that stands, because,
Mhm.
clearly if they're taking off the roof, this situation certainly could arise,
Right.
and it did. So
Correct.
just
Yeah.
transparent, not transparency, that's the wrong word, but
No, but education.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments at this point?
Just a quick question out of curiosity. Is a developer developing this for sale eventually, or is someone going to live in it who currently owns it? Or
It would be a for sale.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Any comments? Okay. I guess at this point, yeah, okay. I need a motion to open for public comments.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any comments from the public?
No hands raised.
No hands raised? Okay. I guess we'll have a motion to close public comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I guess at this point, we get a motion to approve or disapprove.
Will we be getting updated revised drawings set for this?
That's part of the Mr. Azzalina's letter, in which they have agreed to do, right? Was revise the drawings to update. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding of testimony.
Right. Typically, it would be resolution compliance.
Right.
To address all the comments in Mr. Azzalini's
Right.
letter. It would all be shown on
Mr.
the page.
Azzalina's letter states that, so. That would be
And
part of
is
the
the board gonna,
compliance.
is the board gonna see that revised set of drawings? Just to make sure it's.
Well, if you would like to, I guess we could get you a copy of that.
Yeah, I'd like to. I
Yeah.
think so. I think that'll be appropriate.
Yeah. So we need 13 cents.
13.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the resolution will also indicate, as Mr. Azzalina said, about the existing driveway, the clarification on that as well.
Yes. Yeah, clarification on the existing driveway, correct.
My only concern,
Yeah.
and just as a counterpoint, is that the documents, so they've agreed to, they've stipulated that they'll meet the
No, I understand.
items. So if we want to see them again, it's another cycle, delays their approval. I mean, my only concern is
you know, getting this approved, if there's agreement, as expeditiously as
So
possible.
every time I went through this process, I had to show revised plans.
Okay.
I've never gone through the process where I was given the benefit of the doubt that I'm going to be making these changes without proving.
Okay.
Yeah. And Vladimir, excuse me, but I'm not discounting what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I don't need a set of plans, so
Okay.
if certain board members don't, because these aren't
Maybe they could be
necessarily cheap to
electronic.
produce. I'm sorry?
It could be electronic. I don't need the paper copy.
I mean, whatever their board members, whoever wants to see, the resolution. I mean, typically Mr. Bracek will work with Mr. Azzolini's office and, resubmit and have him review it again, and he'll issue another updated letter.
I'm okay saying electronic set, PDF set is fine. I don't need a paper copy.
Is anybody else requiring a paper copy here? No, so I guess one electronic in dealing with Mr. Azzolina's office.
Sure.
So do we envision coming back? I don't think we've ever really done that. We've had Paul review the revised plans.
Yeah, Paul should review the revised plans, and then you usually work it out with the builder if.
Yes, so
There's any-
then, as Mr. Sarlo stated, the resolution compliance process would be, plans would be received by me, reviewed by me, and then I would do a report to the construction officials
Right,
saying
right.
they've complied with any conditions.
Which is normal procedure.
Yes.
Yes,
I wouldn't
correct.
come back here, but
It doesn't need to come back
Paul
here.
would really, you think I would-
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
But
I just wanted to see-
he could take a
just
look
like
at
to see
it
a
just
plan
for his
set,
own,
that's all.
yeah, just so he knows what's going
That's
on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not doing the actual resolution tonight. So if you can get them timely before we do the reso, that way it does give Vladimir one more chance before we actually do the resolution. But I don't know how that works out time-wise to get new plans and.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the site's not being productive, and it's costing my client money, so he wants to move the process along as quick as possible, which is only a benefit
Sure.
to the neighborhood, but it certainly depends on Mr. Bracek's schedule, Mr. Azzolini's schedule. But typically, the resolution, as council knows, it would be a condition that, we're going to comply with all the requirements of Mr. Azzolini's letter.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments at this point? I guess we can vote on the motion to approve.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to need a motion to approve the plans of resolution. And anybody want to? The application, yes.
I'll make a motion for that, Bill.
Okay,
I'll second
a
it.
second, okay. Okay, so, yeah, Grace, you want to do roll call, please?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
It's been approved.
Good holiday weekend.
You too.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Okay. I guess next we go to old business. And reauthorization of Reds PB 24-09 for Peter Aziz, J. Aziz Esquire of R&S Prime Properties for LLC for a minor subdivision of 680 McKinley Avenue, Block 3103, Lot 1. And,
Okay, John, thank you.
yeah. Mr. Azzolina, do you have any comments on that?
Just that there was some issues relative to timing of the subdivision deed and the back and forth with corrections required, all of which was kind of done at the 11th hour. You have 190 days to, prepare a subdivision deed for recording. Things were submitted kind of in a disjointed manner, and so they got right to the deadline and they didn't make the timeline. So it's really an administrative process. So they're asking that it be extended so that they can in turn record the deed.
Okay. Any particular reason why they felt they couldn't get this in time? Did they give you any
Well,
legitimate
as I
reason?
say, it was kind of done toward the end of the 190 days, and then my recollection is that I believe the chairman was out of town on business at the time, and just I think that was the primary issue.
Okay. So we got any public comments, I guess? Yeah. Okay, I need a motion to open public comments on this issue.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody with any public comments? Anybody online?
No.
Nobody online? Anybody in here? Nobody's in here. Okay. Motion to close public comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I guess we go to a motion to approve the resolution, PB 25-11. Need a motion to approve.
Motion?
I'll second
Okay. And Grace, you want to call the roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
it. Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
So that was approving the application. Now they have to approve the resolution.
Okay. Okay. So we need to get a motion to approve the resolution. Okay, now I need a motion to approve resolution for that reauthorization, PB 25-11.
I'll motion that.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Grace, would you like to
Roll call.
roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes?
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
Okay, that's approved. Resolution. Okay. And then that's, so this is gonna be this one, right?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. Resolution approval of the application for GE Builders LLC for demolition of existing house for new proposed residence to be located at 311 Walnut Street, block 4415, lot 4. Are there any comments on that resolution? Everybody have a chance to read that as when it came? No comments? Any questions? No? Okay. Okay, I need a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And
Bill, can you approve or does that need a roll call?
You should have a roll call.
Okay,
Okay.
so do roll call vote.
okay, I need a roll call vote. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
I can't vote on that, Grace.
oh, that's right. Okay. Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
Okay. And May 21st, okay. Okay, we got approval for the minutes for May 21st, 2025. I'll need a motion to approve.
I'll make a
Motion.
second.
Second, okay. And anybody have any corrections or any, I had one, if anybody else has on page 3. Just a typo. Mayor Calamari mails a motion,
Yeah.
should be makes. That's the only thing I could find. Anybody else have any corrections or comments on that? None? Okay, okay. Now we need a motion to approve the minutes, please.
I'll motion.
Yeah, I'll second it with that correction.
Okay. Okay. Grace, you want a roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes?
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do a closed session, right? Okay. Okay, then we have to do the minutes for the closed session for May 21st. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes after they read them? Corrections? Nothing? Okay. I need a motion to approve them.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
Okay.
If you do,
Okay. Okay. June 4th, Planning Board minutes. Any questions or anything on the minutes that were presented to everyone? No questions? Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes?
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari.
Yes.
Okay. That's approved. We'll move on to Planning Board minutes for June 18th, 2025. Anyone have any questions or corrections or anything on those minutes?
Yes. A couple of items. One on page 3, the full paragraph from the bottom. I believe I inquired if there were formal written agreements or commitments. I don't believe I confirmed that there were.
Okay,
I don't know if I would have
Required if there was.
that.
okay.
The last paragraph,
Uh-huh.
so I had made a request of the administration, Mr. DiCarlo was on the line, for an accounting or proof or whatever, however we want to state it, that the $325K was paid. I did receive something from Mr. DiCarlo, but it was the dollar value that was presented, which was much lower than this.
Okay,
I sent a follow-up just today to Mr. DiCarlo, asking if he had made any progress. We had talked about the documents he had provided to me, and I didn't receive a reply. It was short notice, but,
okay, so I'll just say that you got some more information.
well, no, I requested it. I think
You received it?
I received something, but it didn't prove the 325. So I think
Okay,
that goes, to what we state in the actual fair share plan, and does it need to be amended further? So I did make that, but it has not been provided at this point.
okay.
And then on page 4, the next page, the first paragraph, I guess I had inquired how the numbers were arrived at. Were they actual or extrapolated?
Yeah,
I didn't confirm that. I guess Mr. Burgess confirmed it.
okay,
I don't know if if the he is me or the he is him.
okay,
So,
We'll change that to Mr. Burgess.
yeah.
and then just in general on page 4, 5, and 6, typically we don't have that many individuals coming to address the board. I know in the case of the council, as well as other minutes where we've had public issue comments, we note who they are. We individuals who addressed the board. And we don't have that here in terms of who came and spoke, what their concerns were, and what the replies were. I know that these don't have to be verbatim, but I think it would be beneficial to see or have a record of who came
Okay,
to address the council.
okay, so I can put their address, but I can't put their name because of that Daniel's Law.
I thought you could put their name, but not their address.
I think I'll confirm with Sue which one it is.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll just redo these, so we don't have to approve these tonight.
The last thing is, I had requested I had raised a number of questions with the document, the actual plan. The majority of them were addressed. Things like, I guess the largest or the most important was the fact that Stone Mill wasn't redeveloped. But I also requested that the subcommittee be included in the document. I believe it was agreed that it would be included. I don't know who prepared this final document, but it's not here. So, the council, the board, approved this with the understanding that there were amendments that needed to be made. That was one of the amendments. It hasn't been made. I'd like to see it made and have it submitted.
I don't have authority to make that change.
Well, I don't know who does, but the board actually authorized it. So the document does not reflect the board's wish. I don't know who owns that document. I don't know if it is the board that owns the document, if it's Mr. Burgess who owns the document, if it's the council who owns the document, or the administration. But, a member of the board requested an edit. There was no disagreement or really any discussion other than to figure out how to put it, who was going to provide it and add it, and it's not there. So it doesn't reflect the will of the board, and I think it should. So that's my, I'd like to see that corrected.
We'll be happy to look into that. And also, Administrator DiCarlo took a couple vacation days today and tomorrow. So, he's usually very prompt getting back, but.
No, and he was prompt in providing the initial.
Yeah, but if you sent him something this morning, that's probably why you haven't received a response.
And I appreciate that it's going to be looked into, but I don't know what's being looked into. I mean, it's a standing member of the board made a request.
Mm-hmm.
The board voted to accept that request, so it should be in the document.
Okay, that's it. We'll check into it. Yeah.
Okay, so this will have to be
Yeah.
redone, so we won't need to go any further with this till we look into this further and get this straightened out. Okay. Anybody on the board have any other issues or comments? Okay. I guess that's it then. Okay. We can adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you were just asking for June 18 additional.
Oh, well, do you have any other comments other than June 18th? Or you?
Not on
still
June
have-
18th, but
okay.
I had two issues
Okay,
to discuss.
all right.
The first is, Mayor Calamari addressed it, but do we know if there's a timeline or on that education or the notice. I mean, I don't know, I don't think we really came to a conclusion at that meeting as to what it would be, but it just seems, I think this is the third or fourth one this year where it started as a partial or repair or whatever, and now we're
Yes.
on the ground.
Yes, I made a note, so I'll check with the building department and have an answer for the board at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
And the second is, with regard to the application last week, or last meeting, excuse me, clearly it met the zoning requirements, the height, the setbacks, the this, the that. And so it didn't require the variances, so it moves forward. I guess my concern is that it's a massive house for that lot. And is there something that we can do as a board to sort of limit that? So they had a full basement, a full first floor, a full second floor, and I'm wondering, although we have zoning guidelines, is that really the type of house we want built in town, that type of mass? And, is there a way to control that, or would we want to control that? So I would say maybe we want to try to control it in terms of total square foot. I don't know if that's an approach that we could take, but, I don't know if any other board members have any feelings on that.
We have coverage requirements or maximum, and we have the height maximum. So that, I think that would give you your square footage maximum.
Well, not necessarily. I mean,
yeah, I guess,
you could have a 2.5 story building,
right.
and that's X wide and X deep, and it meets the requirements, but it doesn't, it seems that they are trying to maximize their investment.
They are, correct.
They want the maximum square foot that they can add. I mean, I think it's, how many, 5 bathrooms they had? How many bedrooms? So again, it doesn't have to be decided today, and maybe no one else has a concern. I just feel, is there something we can do as a board, or is it not a concern of the board?
If I can address you.
Yeah.
Basically, if it conforms to the ordinance, this board can't deny the application. It's being due, so it would be arbitrary and capricious. So if they meet everything and don't need a variance, the only remedy would be the mayor and council changing the ordinance, which we just went through. So that's basically the answer. It would have to be maybe a recommendation from this board that, hey, we don't want to see houses this big, and that then would be up to the mayor and council to take that up, to decide whether to change the ordinance. So they, as my colleague here said, they're looking to maximize their profit, and that's their right under land use law.
I fully agree. It's, again, it met every requirement we have, but at the same time, it is, I don't know, what was it, 5,000 plus square feet?
I think it's 4,800 square feet.
This one you're talking about, yeah.
The one from last week.
11
Walnut Street.
311 Walnut, yeah.
3 completely developed, it's not a crawl space basement or an unfinished basement. It's, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, first floor with, bathrooms, media rooms. I think it's great. People want to invest in town, but I guess the question is, do we want, a monolith that's square and has every, available square foot
Yeah.
developed?
That particular neighborhood
has been developed quite a bit. I mean, there were a lot of small houses there years ago, and they've all been blown up. So that particular lot looked kind of funny because it was the smallest house left.
Sure.
So now that they put that in there, it's going to kind of, I think it'll settle in, but you don't know for sure. I know what you're saying.
Okay.
You know. But that, it doesn't mean that's always going to be the case. You know, other neighborhoods, that may be the first house to be blown up like that.
Yes.
And then it's going to look odd, you know, so. I really think-
Unfortunately, that can happen.
And that can
You have one house,
Right.
everyone else small.
Exactly,
That's
yeah, so
the law.
it makes it hard, so.
I think the problem too is that we set a precedent now that this house is going to be okay. And if we now backtrack and change the ordinance to make it smaller, the next guy who moves in and wants to do it, he's going to say, we okayed that house 5 months ago, 8 months, 10, whatever it may be. How come it's changing now? So it's a slippery slope as far as that, I think.
I appreciate your point of view. I think I would counter that. We see what people are doing and, we're reacting to it. And again, this may be, I may be the only one barking up this tree, which is fine. But, I felt it worthwhile to bring forward because it is a concern of mine that, we are getting like max development.
Bill, if I may make a comment.
Yes.
I certainly understand your concern, Mike. However, I'm a big proponent of let the market decide also. If people are building these houses and then putting up for sale, if people are willing to buy them, who are we to dictate, assuming it meets all our criteria? If the market should turn around, people may start to build smaller houses. But right now, the market is extremely hot still. And if people can get the money they're asking for these houses,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Anybody else have any comments generally? No? Then I guess we'll go to adjournment and I'll need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.